I'm David Paul, Chief Meteorologist here at Channel 11, and we just wanted to step in here at 8 o'clock and give you a live, complete update on what's going on with Hurricane Melissa. Latest update just came in from the Hurricane Center about an hour ago, so I've got updated pressure, wind speed. It has strengthened during the day today. If you're just getting an update now, the hurricane has winds gusting to 215 miles an hour. It is the strongest hurricane that we have ever seen in the Atlantic this late in the season, and it will end up being one of the strongest landfalling hurricanes ever when it makes landfall in Jamaica tomorrow morning. So we'll go over all the particulars, wind forecast, and everything you need to know from Melissa here as we move along this evening. List of names, there's Melissa, gone Cat 5, did that early today. It joins Umberto, Gabrielle, and Aaron as 4 major hurricanes this year and 3 Cat 5s. The other majors did not hit anything. Unfortunately, Melissa looks like it's going to take a direct hit on Jamaica as we head into Tuesday morning. So let's get right to it. There's Melissa. And as you look down from outer space, you might say to yourself, that looks like a small hurricane. It is. It is a very tightly compact wind field, very, very small wind field. In the weather office, we call these tiny canes. It's a tiny cane, but it is an incredibly powerful, small in size, large in scale hurricane. And where it makes landfall, within 20 miles of landfall, is going to take some significant devastation from the Category 5 winds. We'll zoom in. There is the hurricane. So winds are sustained at 175, and that's happening right here, right near the center. That's where those 175-mile-an-hour winds are. Got tropical storm force winds that extend about the size of the CDO, the Central Dense Overcast. So they're skirting the southwest side of the island right now with tropical storm force winds. They're not having a bad evening there right now, but things will go downhill very rapidly once this begins to move to the north, and we think cross the island as we go into sunrise in the middle of the morning on Tuesday. Again, winds sustained at 175, gusts to 215. It is moving northwest at 2 miles an hour, basically not moving right now, and just feeding off the very warm waters in the Caribbean. Now, if you've been watching our updates all season long, one of the things we update is this. Well, first of all, we'll get to that in a second. We update the amount of energy in the ocean, not just the skin temperature, but how deep it goes. It's called ocean heat content. And as we zoom in on this and just look at this incredibly symmetrical eye, what you're seeing is it's a heat engine. It's pulling heat out of the water, releasing that heat energy in the form of thunderstorms and this incredible rotation. And this is the Earth attempting to equalize, find equilibrium, distributing the heat at the tropics and distributing it poleward. Same things happens in the southern hemisphere as well. So ocean heat content. So if you've been with us, we've been monitoring just how much ocean heat content there is here in the Western and Central Caribbean, just a tremendous amount. And we would speculate that if anything got in here and could feed off of all that ocean heat content, if the upper level winds were light, then you could have a major hurricane. That's exactly what we have. Very light upper level winds. It's not disturbing the circulation at all, and it's just feeding off of the very, very large amount of ocean heat content. Now, what we're looking at specifically is this little track right here. That's the track the storm has taken, and you can see how it is fed off of the heat instead of the orange and red colors that you see all around it. Where the storm has formed, it has literally fed and upwelled heat from underneath the ocean surface. So ocean heat content measures the skin sea surface temperature, which is in the upper 80s, and how deep that heat goes down under the surface. Because what storms will do is like this, they will upwell, they will pull that heat from 50, 100 feet underneath the surface of the ocean. They'll pull it up. And if that water down deep is still warm, it's just keeps that heat going. It doesn't quickly dissipate the heat at the surface. It pulls it up from underneath. And that's what we've seen happening with Melissa as it's made this move, and it has just sucked the heat out of the ocean in this very, very specific, very clean track. You can see how it's fed on that ocean heat content. Okay, so set your bearings. Here's Jamaica. Here's the western tip of Cuba. Those are the two spots that will be impacted. We're going to get a double landfall on Tuesday. First landfall is going to happen around 7 a.m. This is the 1 o'clock. We think the storm will be here at 1 o'clock Tuesday morning, 1 a.m., and then continue moving northeast as a Cat 5 and make landfall as a Cat 5, perhaps with winds near 165 miles an hour. Sustained, that would give us maybe gusts to 200. And again, the wind field, those hurricane force winds, a very tight wind field. It's about that. That's the area that would feel those devastating hurricane force winds. Kingston, Jamaica is here. Kingston might only see tropical storm force winds. They would be spared the wind, but no one's going to be spared the rain. This is going to dump 15 to 30 inches of rain, and flooding from rain and mudslides will be a huge threat tonight, tomorrow, and for the next day. So that's the first landfall. Second landfall will be Wednesday morning. I think Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, it makes landfall here. It's second landfall in Cuba. And then it continues through the Turks and Caicos, southern Bahamas, and then off into the North Atlantic and weakens as it heads into cooler waters. Here is a radar forecast loop with the eye wall, and that is where those winds are. Right in here to the center. That's the size of the hurricane force wind field, but it is very mighty. Although it is small, it is mighty. Kingston would be in the tropical storm force winds. This is 6 a.m. tomorrow morning with the storm just about to make landfall and those strong winds already making landfall on the west side of the island. Crosses over the island, and then second landfall. This model has second landfall eastern Cuba 8 o'clock Tuesday night, so it would make two landfalls in one day, one Tuesday morning, one Tuesday evening. Rainfall potential, this is an estimate. Really, if you look at it, I think you're looking at 15 to 30 inches before it's all said and done in Jamaica, 10 to 15 eastern Cuba. And maybe Hispaniola avoids a big flood threat. They're just maybe a little too far away. That would be good news for the island of Hispaniola. Wind forecast, take these numbers with a grain of salt. They'll be close, they won't be right on. So this is 7 a.m. with winds picking up to 116 miles an hour near Black River. That's our little point forecast right there. Kingston winds to 48. Kingston would get very lucky on this particular track. You can handle that. It's to the west. Now Montego Bay is on the north side of the island right in here. So watch how Montego Bay is going to take a hard hit. The storm will weaken as it crosses the landmass, and it's mountainous in here, but you're going to get sustained winds 95. Sustained at 95 Montego Bay. That means you're getting gusts to 115, 120. So they're going to have a hard hit on the northwest side of the island as the storm exits, going into late morning Tuesday. And then there it goes, exit and winds settling down by 3 o'clock. But even by 3 o'clock, you're getting an onshore flow on the north side at 50, 60 miles an hour. So you're going to get a surge pushing inland on the backside of that rotation. So the storm finally moving to the north and staying away from the United States is all predicated on this cold front right here. That is associated with a mid-level trough, and that will, as we've talked about, will pick up these storms and just pull them to the north and east. And this time of year, in the fall, quite often it deflects storms from ever reaching the United States and reaching the Gulf. That's why we rarely get a storm here. We haven't had anything after Jerry hit us. The latest hurricane ever to hit us in Houston was October the 15th. Because after that, the fronts just start coming, and they push and curve these storms that are trying to come in. They curve them up to the north into the Atlantic. It's unfortunate that it couldn't have come quick enough to save all the islands from getting hit by this one. And that front is the cold front, strong cold front that comes into Houston. It's going to push through Houston tomorrow afternoon. Tuesday afternoon, Houston gets a cold front, a real cold front. We're going to get a northwest wind gusting to 30. Temps are going to drop from near 90 Tuesday afternoon into the low 50s with a north wind gusting to 30 by Wednesday morning. Our next live broadcast, KHOU 11 News at 10, will have all the updates on exactly the timing of the front for tomorrow, what to expect temperature-wise, when temps are going to drop where you live, and what this means for the Halloween and weekend forecast. That's our next live broadcast, KHOU 11 News at 10. We'll see you then.